Welcome to MaliceCast Live, Season 2, Episode 32, the podcast for all things nerd. Tonight on tonight's show, we're going to be talking about the new developments with Easter Island and how their society worked that they found, I think. Maybe. We're also going to talk about the Neill Blomkamp Robocop film and who he said should play Robocop and what that means for other sequel films that should be made in the next 20 years. We're also going to talk about Batman Day and all the details that have emerged from that and what other comic book heroes we think should have a day. And lastly, the Metal Gear Solid film released a ton of concept art and what that means hype-wise for the film. Is it going to be good? Is it going to be another video game film? So let us know your guys' thoughts in the chat room, or if you're watching this on YouTube, in the comments below. Sit back and enjoy the show. Hello, all the geek enthusiasts and nerd aficionados. Mess 5150 from Malice Corp here for MaliceCast Live, Season 2, Episode 32. We're back. We're here to talk all things nerd. As always, you have me, Mess 5150, your host, hosting the all things nerd talk and geek talk and pop culture talk. I thank you guys for joining us on the cast with us tonight. We've got three other great gentlemen that have very big minds to talk about great things. And with us, for one, welcome back, the Big Papa Matt and his beard. How goes it, sir?
Hey, man. It's great. The beard had to get trimmed the other day. It was on vacation with me, and I decided to smack it into gear and get it back to business.
Oh, man.
Meanwhile, mine is like throwing a mind of its own.
You know what? There's a point where the power becomes too great, and it's just not worth taking over the world sometimes when you got work on Monday morning at 10.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's still just as active on social media as you are.
It's like Samson. He's got to trim it down every once in a while because he gets a little too strong.
Yeah, absolutely. Power becomes too great to wield sometimes. You got to just keep it back a little bit.
Also, you heard him joining us as well from Nerd Mosh Pit. Nick, how goes it, sir?
Oh, it's going. It's going. Glad to be back on. Love chatting with you guys.
And in the chat room, we have Icy Zorro and we have Whiskey Gamer and our producer extraordinaire, Jack Malice, all chiming off. Welcome, the three of you, into the chat room. It's been a long hiatus. We haven't seen him in a while. He's back to the cast. Nudie Rudy joins the cast. How goes it, sir?
It's going amazing. Glad to be back. Glad to be hanging out with this great crew of bearded gentlemen here. Lots of power going on.
Lots of power. The beards are the power.
Great power comes great responsibility.
Yep. And our last bearded gentleman is... we're just going to call this the Bearded Gentleman podcast from now on. We're just going to get really weird when Super Hoovy and Freak comes on the podcast.
We haven't... Did you not send the beard to her in the mail?
No, not yet.
Oh, well, sorry, I ruined the surprise for you. Super. Look into the mail. Keep an eye out.
That epic beardo's coming.
It's coming. Yep.
That's why you trimmed. You're making a natural replacement.
I gave to someone else, man. I gave charity out. At first, the sink looked like I'd murdered a werewolf, and then I was like, you know what? This could go to good use somewhere. Let me scoop it all out of the sink. So.
It's like the natural Indian hair wigs that they sell for thousands of dollars. We have the natural Son of Maku, Big Papa Matt, chin hair wig.
No. I appreciate all the praise and love for my wonderful beard hair, but don't let the secret out, man. I can't be getting harassed in the middle of the street.
And welcome, Sir Talmore, into the chat, and Marley Ball. It's a lot of people in the chat today.
Hi, everybody.
But like I was going to say, welcome to the chat, Igor. How goes it, sir?
Yeah, power corrupts, but absolute power is kind of neat.
And that's who's on our cast for tonight. So we like to start this cast out with talking about what we've been geeking out on, what we've been nerding out on, what things of fun we've been doing lately. My biggest one, and I brought this up after the cast, after we were already off the air last week, but I have been binging and catching up on Castle Rock on Hulu. and I love the show because I love finding all the Easter eggs that are in it for like Stephen King novels and stories, because that's the whole focus of it. Is it's got a ton of Easter eggs focused towards that. But it's a mystery that every time I think I'm figuring out what's going on, something gets thrown in that completely changes what you're thinking is actually happening. And the acting is phenomenal on it. They're hitting it out of the park. There's no wonder that it's been already renewed for a second season, and it's only 6 episodes in. So the only thing I hate about it is the Hulu way of watching, which is just like old TV of getting one episode every week as opposed to doing Netflix style and just dropping everything at once. Yeah, that's what I've been geeking out on. Has anybody else watched Castle Rock? Or
I've watched 3 of the episodes, maybe 4. I can't remember. Honestly, the reason why I can't remember is I'm not overly impressed with it.
Really?
I love to hear that you're really excited about it and you're enjoying it. But for me, it hasn't locked me in yet. I'm enjoying a lot of the callbacks. I like the world we're in. I like where it's taking place. I like some of the characters. But there just hasn't been that hook where I'm like, I have to watch this.
I think these last 2 episodes have really been the episodes that really start opening up the story a lot more. So I could see the first 3. The fact that I didn't start watching it till the first 3 were out, maybe is what helped. So that I was able to kind of just not sit there and wait for other things to happen. So what have you been geeking out on, Big Papa Matt, since this is not Castle Rock?
And not Castle. Well, a little bit of Castle Rock. But the main show, I'd have to say, are Better Call Saul, but more than anything is Outcast. Outcast right now, season 2 on Cinemax. It is the ultimate reason to go and check this out. Speaking of Cinemax, you can get 7-day free trial through our Amazon Prime. Go through our link on the website. Early plug. Boom. Nailed it. You're welcome.
The confidence, the hubris.
Well, there's the new show that came out today on Netflix that I'm sure people will be binging, and that's the new cartoon, The Disenchantment.
Yeah, Disenchantment came out. Netflix spammed my phone a couple of times saying, go watch this. And I went, hold on, I have to do a show first.
What about you, Nudie Rudy? We haven't talked to you in a while. What have you been geeking out on?
Actually just wrapped up the first Watchdog game. Finally went back and played that. I'd always been interested in it since, saw the E3 hype when it was first announced and everything. And it was pretty fun, basically Grand Theft Auto with hacking, but, enjoyable game all in all. I like the storyline, and finally wrapped up watching Westworld. Really enjoy that show. Great show.
Oh, yeah.
Great
Amazing
finale.
show.
Yeah. So just
it makes you feel dumb, doesn't it?
Yeah, I hear you for sure. There's so much going on, and your brain's just spinning. So yeah, and popping into the second season of Handmaid's Tale. Started that up once I finished up Westworld. So just got 2 episodes down of that, and loving that so far too. So that's what I've been geeking out on lately.
How about you, Nick? Is it still all the Sugar Cream Gang or whatever?
Oh, that was a Buttercream Gang.
Buttercream
Gang. That out yet?
No, I haven't.
It's like you'll have to check that out if y'all want to see something really, really lame, something that you'll have a good laugh at for the rest of the week. Go check out the Buttercream Gang. But no, I've been geeking out on Better Call Saul. It is really, really impressive so far with season 4. If y'all haven't started watching it, please start watching Better Call Saul. Also, oh yeah, my wife and I have been getting really into Dr. Pimple Popper.
Oh God. Oh, and people love watching videos too.
I don't know what it is, man.
I do. They're ridiculous. I don't get it.
I don't know what it is. There's something about cutting those glycomas and taking it out, and then she's like sitting there playing with it. She's like, "Oh, look what I cut out of you. It's your little baby."
Nope.
And there's all types of stuff in the chat room going on. Jack, as always, is doing 40K. I jumped into a great Star Wars RPG. He gives a shout out to Gaming on Grand in Escondido and his GM Gabor, who runs the Star Wars game over there. Lots of Netflix streaming by Sir Talmor and Masonic Vader, who joins the chat. So lots of geeking out going on in there. Lastly, our geek on this cast, Igor, what have you been geeking out on?
Well, other than comic books, almost like you do on Funko, man, have I been diving in feet first into Welcome to Night Vale. Don't know how widely known that is, but
I've heard of it.
my goodness. Oh my
I've listened to a
goodness.
few episodes.
I'm on year let's see, I'm through year 2 of 7 in the past
Oh
week.
wow.
Over the past week. And yeah.
Is that what all that
Future-
coffee in front of you is for? So that you can get through more of the just keep them coming.
I totally haven't stayed up to listen. The future is what you make of it.
Exactly.
Supplies are limited. Such a good show. Highly recommend it if you want just an overdose of weird.
And yeah. So, okay, so let's get into what we're here to talk about, the nerd news, what's been going on in the headlines. Quite a few things popped up. One of them, this is why I brought the sophisticated minds on, the ones that love history and stuff, because I wouldn't be able to go very far with this one myself personally. But the big one was that they had new developments that happened in terms of Easter Island. You know, the island with the big heads over by Chile.
No, never heard of it. What are you talking about?
But it was always deemed that society had a lot of infighting and basically wiped itself out. That's what happened with that ancient civilization. It's always been a big mystery. They did some research in some of the digs that they were doing over there, and looking into the tools that they used, which are called toki, to make the statues. They found that a lot of the materials being used were the same, that they had to collaborate with each other, that there was probably more to the society than just infighting, that they actually were collaborating with each other. Kind of wanted to know what you guys, digging into history and stuff, pun not intended, what did you think about like these findings? What does it speak to you about like other societies from ancient civilization that we really don't know much about, if there's a lot more to kind of discover?
The cooler thing about that, I think, would be not just the Easter Island thing that you brought up, but if you go to like Tulam, it's in Mexico, it's Yucatan Peninsula. They have those ancient pyramids. Same thing that you see over in Egypt, only they're a lot bigger, but totally different sides of the ocean. Both pyramids, and I think it really has something to do with just people's minds think alike. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. We all kind of are wired the same. We're all people, and I mean, the only other explanation that someone had, famous guy on the History Channel, aliens.
You sure it's not because aliens? Yeah, exactly.
Next, you're going to tell me the History Channel had an explanation for Hitler. My goodness.
I'm just bummed they didn't find out that Tony Robbins, or what's his name, the speaker. I just
Tony.
wanted to know if
Tony Robbins.
Right? I hear his ancestors are from over there. Those big heads.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah.
I went for it.
You went for it.
I went for it.
I'm just really glad to have any information about the Rapa Nui.
Mm-hmm.
Not to need to be anal retentive, but just that it's fun to say the people of Rapa Nui.
Mhm.
Because not only are they just pretty daggone interesting, considering they had one island to work with, and they chose to work together in at least some aspects, like the discoveries about the tools gave us. But thousands of years ago, they're putting together these freaking monoliths that would be next to impossible for so many people in 2018, for crying out loud. And also, I'm just happy to learn any more details about that culture, because what little we do know tells me that they're just really interesting folks, even carvings aside. Because, yeah, they called themselves Rapa Nui, and at least some of their tools Toki, but this is a people who even have a word for stealing everything from your neighbor by borrowing everything from them one by one, every item from them one by one, and never returning it. It's called Tingo.
I'm sure it's not called Homer?
Tingo. No, Tingo. It's literally stealing everything from your neighbor by borrowing each item individually and never returning it.
Like Homer did to Ned Flanders, yeah.
Yeah, it's called Tingo. In the Rapa Nui, it was called Tingo.
Oakley.
Well, it says
I
that
want to
there
know
were
more
at
about the
least-
people who have a word for that.
It says there were at least 3 different sources on Easter Island that the Rapa Nui used for materials to make their stone tools. The basalt quarries covered 12,000 square meters, an area the size of 2 football fields. And the
Mhm.
factor that they had these different places to go, they said finding that a lot of them came from the same spot meant that, hey, we found one that gives us the best properties, but they weren't just going to go fight over each other to get the properties. Is the assumption, because you would have to work with each other.
They literally chose to work together
specialization. There's
instead of.
probably one group that made the tools specifically and traded to the others. And personally, I've always been fascinated by Rapa Nui and the Moai. And, I personally think that it's a nice development, but yeah, it's just one small piece of the puzzle. We definitely need a lot more information. And just because there was cooperation at one time and when they made it doesn't preclude the fact that later on that things had fallen apart and maybe they did overcompete for resources and that's what made their society fall apart. We don't know. Personally, I don't think that, that's the final answer myself. It's just the best we've come up with so far, but I think we need a lot more information and a lot more research before we find out. And I'm, for one, just on the edge of my seat waiting to find out more about their culture and their society.
I think I read somewhere that they wiped out all the trees on that island when they lifted those huge monoliths.
Yeah, that's one of the main theories so far. And then after that, they couldn't build boats to get out to rocks out there and be able to get to seabirds and different resources they had, and that it just caused the collapse of their society and all this infighting, which is, it's one theory, but we really don't know.
Well, Jack says anything's possible with enough beer. He's seen some amazing feats after the simple word, wait, hold my beer.
There's that, there's Stonehenge, there's the pyramids, all those things people can't explain how they did it way back then.
They all had beer. Said, wait, hold my beer. But yeah, Icy Zoro says it was called floundering. Yeah.
Philandering.
Yeah. And
Not to be confused with philandering.
No.
Or philately, which is completely different.
But by being able to find this was a society where they thought that it was always a mystery, but they thought that they had the answers figured out, that it was, hey, they must have destroyed themselves. And now they're finding out that it may have been more colonists and slavery that caused the civilization to disappear, as opposed to infighting. Do you think that there's still stuff to find on these other ancient civilizations? Because now they're just finding out this other stuff by just cutting off a little piece of a tool and digging deeper into it.
Absolutely. There's going to be things that are out there, but we're never going to find because they have already deteriorated.
That's what I'm wondering is has stuff gone so far that we just won't get any answers any further? Or do you think there is more digging that can be done to really find a little bit more on these other civilizations?
It's going to be very hard.
We'll have new techniques. We'll have new things, new discoveries that allow us to find and delve deeper in the information we have, Technology progresses, science progresses, the human mind is always delving deeper, and, curiosity is unquenchable desire, I think that we will find out more about these civilizations just over time and with new techniques, new thoughts, new people.
Well, I think you and Nick are both right, but at the same time, I think the other half of it is going to depend on the physical situation, because look at Easter Island. It's an island, and look at the history that poor Japan has had just in the years we've been alive, with tsunamis, or the recent just horrifying beating Puerto Rico took from hurricanes just at the end of last year. It could well be that a lot of stuff from them was just destroyed by time and literal tide.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even to the point that maybe it wasn't the islanders or the colonists at all. Maybe it was something else entirely, and we don't know because it's literally just been smashed to bits and washed away to the corners of the earth.
Smash thy enemy to tiny bits.
Yeah. Because with the digging, look at Egypt. Look at Egypt again. Just this year there was the black sarcophagus found when archaeologists had already decided at least decades ago that, okay, there's no more that haven't been looted or already dug up.
It's like, you know how much sand has covered like some of the monuments that are probably still hiding over there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wasn't Luxor completely buried when it was first found?
I think so.
And that's not a small place. That's a very, very tall, very wide place.
Satellite mapping is, like I said, with new technology techniques, has found all kinds of possible new sites in South America for new jungle temples and parts where they think that there's whole completely undiscovered parts like
Machu Picchu.
Nick was saying, pyramids, exactly, yeah, that are still just completely covered by the jungle that just nobody's explored yet, but are very possibly there just based on satellite imagery, and looking at symmetry in certain things. I think, that there's a lot more still out there to be discovered.
I love how
like
there's always two shows going on with our cast. We go into intellectual corner here, and they're talking about beer and wine in the chat room.
Yeah, I look down, and the first thing I see is I feel that wine came first. They have evidence that dinosaurs drank fermented fruit.
Hence why everybody should be here live, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch, twitch.tv/MaliceCorp. If you're watching this on YouTube, youtube.com/c/MaliceCorp. Come back live at 8 p.m. because there are always two shows going on at once. We try to merge them together. But
there's a species of small primate that exists almost entirely on fermented fruit. Man, nature's been drinking for a long time.
And that is Nudie Rudy's way of merging the shows together.
It's crazy. We found out how to make alcohol before we even had any kind of stabilized civilization.
Yeah. It
I
just
think
shows where the priorities are.
Yeah, it's like, nope, we got to figure this out first, and then we can build a civilization.
Okay, so we've done our intellectual corner of the cast, and this is stuff that we want to do more often. We're just looking for ways to do the conversations and talk. So if you guys like this, please let us know. Drop us a comment on Twitter at MaliceCast or at MaliceCorp, or even you can send it to me at @mest_MaliceCorp on Twitter. Let us know what you thought of this portion of the show. Let's move on to the other nerd and geek specific things that we were finding out in nerd news this week. First and foremost,
the man who likes to make people explode. Which one?
Well, I'm gonna go on the throwback bus. Robocop. Hence my shirt.
The director who likes to make people explode.
Yes. So Neill Blomkamp, who did Chappie District 9, right? I think it was talking about making the Alien movie that I wish would have gotten made, where it was a direct sequel of Aliens. He is in works at MGM of making a RoboCop film, and a tweet went out to him saying, "Hey, I forgot how great RoboCop is. It's such a great movie. I can't wait to see Neill Blomkamp's twist. Who should play RoboCop?" And his response was Peter Weller. And I wanted to know what your guys' thoughts were on that, because I started thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, why couldn't Peter Weller play RoboCop again? All you see is this portion of his face, if you put him in the suit. And he said that the RoboCop film he's working on is a sequel. He hasn't said if it's a sequel of that terrible remake that happened a few years ago, or if it's a sequel of the original series. The question that I wanted to pose was, do you guys want to see if they're going to start doing reboots and sequels? Would you like to see original actors back into those? Would you like to see Peter Weller playing RoboCop again?
Some cases, yes. RoboCop, one of them.
Okay. Yeah, how old is he now? Like 50, 60?
Yeah, something like that. At least in his 50s. I know probably Jack, our producer, is probably going to scream out in the chat room that he wants Buckaroo Banzai too.
Hell yeah.
Lost in litigation. So sad that it's lost in litigation. The only one that's freely able to be made is the comic book.
Yeah, Sir Talmore in the chat says, I think Peter Weller would be a good choice. I want to see him back in the suit. And nowadays you have films that are 20 plus years old that are starting to get original actors coming back. You have Top Gun 2 with Ice Cream Man, Val Kilmer, and Tom Cruise. You have what we talked about last week, or 2 weeks ago, with Terminator 6 and getting the original actress that played Sarah Connor coming back. I mean, is that the way to go? Is give us these old properties with original actors?
I think it's okay as long as RoboCop is more mobile.
Okay. Not the old suit.
Yeah, just a little bit more mobile since it's 2018. I mean, RoboCop was awesome, but I mean, it would be nice if he had a little bit more mobility.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, Sir Telmer says his makeup in the original movie made him look old, so it doesn't now. He doesn't need the makeup.
I don't know. I think being the kind of the classic Detroit model, which was, you probably remember, was part of the visual design point at the time, would be great. I kind of want to see, I kind of want to see him as like the grizzled cyborg detective, in the
Ooh.
future of future Detroit.
I like it.
No, I want
Like Nick Valentine.
Wait, I want to hear what Big Papa Matt wants.
No, I don't want to see Peter Weller back in the suit. I want to hear his voice in an animated film by Blomkamp.
Oh, that actually.
I don't
But then
want a
you lose
live action
that visual
RoboCop.
style that Blomkamp has. I actually like Blomkamp's
But
visual.
I would love to see what he could do animation wise, because
Yeah.
Weller had some of the best voice acting that we've seen in recent years with the Dark Knight stuff from Batman.
Hell yeah. Now,
True.
I think we can meet in the middle on that one. Has anybody seen Blomkamp's most recent work from Oates Pictures?
The little small clips he was putting up on. Is that what the ones that are? He's
No,
putting
there's
up?
full short films, dude. There's full short films, like
Oh, okay.
half-hour long short films.
Okay.
They're long story short, they're just as messy as you remember his classic stuff being. Don't bring your kids to the YouTubes. And the teams he's gotten together for this stuff that he's actually, in a large part, crowdfunded, actually, have actually really, really nicely fit CGI. So maybe this is one of those cases we could have our cake and eat it too, with good CGI in there.
Yeah, absolutely. His CGI work is almost flawless between District 9. Even, I mean, Chappie, for what it was, CGI wise, I mean, almost flawless that way. But he doesn't even need to be CGI. Give us something a little different, and Blomkamp's the kind of guy that's going to do something a little outside of the box sometimes, and give us that way, because then you're not having to, worry about Peter Weller, any way, shape, or form not being able to commit, and bad camera angles and bad shots. Give us something that everybody can do and be in a great wheelhouse, and I think animation is the way to go with it.
I actually like that spin. I didn't think about that at all. That would be kind of cool to see it that way. And that's why we bring the Big Papa Matt on, because he brings those different tastes and spins. I mean, going off of this, him saying, Peter Weller should be in it. Are there what are some properties that you would like to see with original cast of sequels that are 20 plus years that you'd like to see be made?
Legend.
As
Alien.
opposed to being a reboot or Alien.
Legend. Wow, we are heavily into the Ridley Scott territory. But hey,
Yeah, absolutely. But Alien, it's going perfect right now because we're gonna have that third Prometheus trilogy, and then we'll be ready for the new Alien. So
That'd be great.
And, I mean, we were a couple months or about a year ago getting something that looked like it was gonna happen. It was gonna be promised, and then it didn't happen. Beetlejuice. I think I want that Beetlejuice 2 film.
No, just give me. Beetlejuice 2 would be great. Don't get me wrong. I'm a huge Michael Keaton fan, as I've touted on the show before. Yeah, give me Beetlejuice. I'm in. Let's go.
We said on the Nerd Mosh Pit a while back. I think I brought it up, but I think it'd be cool to see another Fifth Element.
But how would you approach that?
The same way that
haven't really-
Shyamalan approached Unbreakable. Just bring Bruce back in a cutscene at the end of the next one, and then boom, your third one's ready to go.
actually, Basson's kind of the French answer to Blomkamp, so I would go so far as to say however the hell he wants.
I like it. I like it.
Well,
As long
hey,
as it's got crazy techno music and Bruce Willis in there somewhere. Boom.
Flying taxi cab. Let's do it.
It was such a great movie. I want to see it done again.
and we needed better Batman than Batfleck. Some recasting anyway. So what about an original Michael Keaton? He's on a resurgence. That might be fun.
I don't
Seeing him
hate
back
it.
in the bat suit.
I don't hate it because you dropped
that's what I
Michael
wanted to
Keaton
bring
at the end of
yeah.
that sentence, but I hated everything prior. And then you said Michael Keaton, and then I was in.
He's on a resurgence, man.
The Sonic Vader said,
Yeah.
Sixth Element, question mark. How they would call
Let's
it.
go for it.
The Sixth Element. The Seventh Sense.
Yeah. How many elements can we find?
But dude, I think we could absolutely talk Cruise into doing a fantasy flick because he hasn't done one in a billion years, and all it would take is, and you would do your own stunts. He'd say, "We're done. We are on."
Well, his next sci-fi fantasy flick is rumors of a Green Lantern movie, right?
Oh God, I purposely didn't put that onto this week's cast.
Oh, that's gonna be bad.
Hopefully,
Yes,
it's
bad
not Ryan Reynolds
indeed.
again.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I I wanted Ghostbusters with the original cast, but that took too long and didn't happen. Big Papa Matt throwing his hands up. So.
Actually, what'd be fun? Because I was kind of thinking about this, like earlier today or yesterday. What if we started remaking the remakes? And we were talking about the perfect one to do that with in the pre-show. Just make a third remake of Evil Dead. Remake the remake, revise the remake. Just
Revise the remake.
have even more. Just go nuts.
Make it even better.
Or Sam
I
Raimi.
just went
Sam
crazy. He says
Raimi-
for real though. He said Tom Cruise taking over as the Devil and Legend remake would be rad.
Sam Raimi would be the guy to do that, though. So you know what? I think Eeyore. I think you're the closest one. I think that's gonna happen. Let's go.
Now it has actual Muppets.
Yeah,
That's the one I was
Kermit and
waiting
Miss Piggy
for.
are really surprised.
I was waiting to see how somebody would drop this for this week's cast and figure it out. Icy Zora was the one that looked at it and he said, "Raising Arizona 30 years later." That's how we get our Nick Cage doing
Absolutely.
his old role.
His second Oscar.
I've engineered you all to just think of Nick Cage anytime the show is on. Friday night with Nick Cage, everybody.
Nick Cage
So
as
yeah,
Swamp
how do we
Thing.
do that? We
Coming to a
put
theater.
Arizona as
Nick Cage in the cage.
Swamp Thing.
we put the child as is now in his midlife crisis.
All 8 of them.
And then you bring back Holly Hunter and Nick Cage.
It's in. Absolutely, Sir Talmore. We absolutely want more Nick Cage.
So, yeah, but that's what I wanted to know was what your guys' thoughts were on the Peter Weller thing. I do like your spin on it with the animated way of going about it. I want to give Neill Blomkamp all the old science fiction films from the 80s and 90s because you can totally see in his artwork for his concepts of the films that he has a true love for these things and wants to bring them back the way that they should be brought back.
It's like
I just want to let him do it all.
50% Grindhouse, 50% like 1940s sci-fi novels and comic books, and it's beautiful.
Mixed together with amazing over-the-top action.
Telling you, check out those productions on YouTube. You will not freaking regret it.
I wrote them
You'll be
down.
Confused, maybe a little disturbed, but you will not regret it.
They're on my list.
And Matt, are you thinking about more like animation towards like what they did with the Clone Wars?
No.
With RoboCop?
I want something gritty animation-wise. Like I'm thinking more like Kill
Influx.
Bill, like a Kill Bill kind of animation, where
Okay.
it switches over. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, see, now to go almost completely tangential, but now I want something like the insane cop in RoboCop 2, but this time we get to see the world through his eyes, and it's just like an anime going on instead of the real world or something like that. That would be amazing.
I would love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's move on since we time constraints.
Yeah, whiskey.
Another Back to the Future.
Sir
What
Talmore
was he
said
saying?
that Nick Cage. Sir Talmore said that Nick Cage was great in Teen Titans Go. By the way, so let's go and watch Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, and
Yes.
our friend Masonic Vader said Teen Titans Go was great as well. So, and he's our Superman fan.
Every
so.
movie Nick Cage gets put in, that much better. That much better every time.
All right.
Except for the Wicker Man.
Imagine
Except
if
for
he
the Wicker
wasn't in Wicker Man. How bad that would be.
Yeah, that probably would have been pretty awful.
That would
That's
just
how
make
you're
no
gonna.
sense.
That's how you're
Instead of
gonna
be
validate him
strange.
by just going, imagine he wasn't.
It
in
would have been even more awful if they had.
We like to call this opening your mind.
B-class
Right
actor.
there. Open it up. Open it up.
Yeah, Sir Talmor says Teen Titans is Deadpool for teens, and Jack says they need to remake Monster Squad. I don't want them to remake Monster Squad.
I don't want
Make a sequel.
Yeah, come on, do something with that.
Make a sequel to Monster
Something.
Squad. Silly.
So, okay. Moving on to the next subject. released the details for. It's been 5 years now. This is the 5th year, but Batman Day is coming September 15th, and we've had Wonder Woman Day. Now we got Batman Day. They're going to be doing this celebration at libraries, bookstores, comic book stores, and a couple of things that they release the details about is that they will include an early copy of the first chapter of Batman White Knight, the new Sean Murphy written and drawn book. That's a month ahead of release, and that we will get a preview of DC's new Black series, Batman Damned. Along with this, they're going to have interactive online activity books to print up and celebrate with, and all different types of stuff. Discounts on things. I mean, is this something that you guys want to go check out and see what they got going on anywhere?
Nah, not really. I mean, I like the fact that Batman's got a day unto himself. That's fun. But I've already got good enough local comic shops in the multiple sense for selection.
What if the comic shops that are local to you are participating in this?
I already own all of White Knight, and I don't want to pick up the children's comic. I like the coloring, but yeah, and I'm not going to buy the digital comics. It's paper all the way for me, baby.
Yeah, well, one of the things, the digital thing isn't digital. I mean, they're doing discounts on the digital comics, but they're doing it's the activity book that's digital.
Oh, they're doing both. They're doing digital Batman sales on the day as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a fun shindig. But honestly, I'm kind of spoiled by the quality of local comic shops I've got out here. I literally have the one I went to as a child still kicking around, and one that's massively rapidly expanding. That's kind of like the like the friendly version of that one John Cusack and Jack Black movie where they had the record store.
High Fidelity?
Yes.
Yeah, the friendly version of that. That's kind of like the friendly version of that store. So, yeah, I'm kind of spoiled already. But what about everybody else who isn't so very first world privileged?
Batman the Damned is the only thing that, but I've had that pre-ordered now for a while, so, it does me no good now that it's going on a sale or anything like that. So, but any of that Black Label stuff's going to be killer. Batman Day, whatever, that's cool. Sure, that's great that Batman is part of the zeitgeist now. He has been for a long time. But, hey, as long as they give me a sweet Snapchat filter to put on a cape and a cowl, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah, I think the more Batman, the better. And personally, I think a good thing about it is just if we drive more business to local comic shops and small independent bookstores and stuff. I think that's one of the great things about it is that, sure, you're spoiled, Igor, there, but, what about everybody else who still needs to get in? And, like Jack Malice was saying about one of our recent partners having some issues that, the more people that can be driven for whatever reason, if there's Batman fans that go to their local comic book shop for the first time because of Batman Day, then, it's all the better.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, Jack says shop local, down with big corporations. And speaking of which, one of our friends up in Idaho, Turbo Comics, Max, is part of the Comics for All podcast with Big Papa Matt and Igor here. And he's a great guy, and they really will look for any items that you guys are looking for. So if you reach out to him, you can find him on Twitter at Turbo Comics ID or on Facebook. They'll look for the stuff that you're looking for. If you don't want to reach out to them, you can always go to our website, malice-corp.com. Click on the Amazon link, and anything that you want to get from Amazon, you can get there, and it helps us and kicks down to us to help us out with running all this stuff and everything. But definitely support your local comic shops. I was trying to see some of the. I mean, Beacon says he is Batman. So
very chat room. He is the world's first Wookiee Batman.
Hey, here's the thing. I've never seen Beacon and Batman in the room at the same time in a room, so they could be. It's possible.
It is true. That is definitely true.
It can't be disproved.
Yeah.
Whiskey Gamer is there with you, Igor. He says, paper all the way. Get off my lawn.
Amen. I don't mean to slam
all these
Batman
kids.
Day at all. I just mean to say it's not for me. But I like the day of an event. Honestly, the only thing I would actually get picky about is that they have a giveaway for kids in comic book form for Lil Gotham. and that's okay. But I'm one of those who think that kids need more of a Don Bluth treatment than Disney direct-to-video treatment. Give them a free issue of Batman the Animated Series, like a free issue of the Batman animated comic. Kids and adults loved the heck out of that, and they're still kid appropriate. No graphic language, no graphic topics, no graphic images either.
Well, I mean, I do like DC doing this, that they even give 5 activities to do on Batman Day to kind of get things promoted. But they said, gather together and go to these places that are having these events. Or you just download the activity book, which is free online. Have a game night, a Batman themed game night. And the only thing I don't like about this is it says to, where's it at? Turn watching the Justice League movie into a fun, involved game. How do you do that?
You want to know how you do that?
Ouch.
I want to know, Big Papa Matt. How do you
Is that what DC said?
There's things you're not supposed to say on these
Oh,
websites.
okay.
So,
Well, then we'll go back to the
I figured it
3D
had to
language.
do something with Superman's lip or something.
But Director Man, is that what
No,
DC actually
no.
said?
It said that yes, it's on DC.com.
Dang.
DCcomics.com.
Way to
says
show faith in
Batman
your own
game.
people. Shoot.
Shameless
Batman
plug.
game night. Gather your party for a Batman themed game night and start with the trivia questions that are included in the Batman Day activity kit. Try on the Batcala yourself with the Batman Arkham VR game for a first-person perspective on what it's like to be Batman, solving crimes and fighting the bad guys. Turn watching the Justice League movie into a fun, involved game. Doesn't tell you how.
I'm also I'm a little worried. Not upset, not criticizing, but I'm a little worried about how they're couching the Batman VR, Arkham VR, because I've seen enough of that to know that has some pretty horrifying murder in it. I hope you're not touting that toward the children.
Well, the fourth one I did like because it kind of gives you some stories to go look up in his 80 years of history, and they highlighted like go to the libraries and check out some Batman books. But you got Batman Preludes to the Wedding by Tim Seeley, Batman Volume 6, Bride or Burglar by Tom King, Batman Catwoman The Wedding Album, the deluxe edition, Dark Knight Metal deluxe edition, which I think we can all agree is definitely a story that needs to be read by everybody.
Too much metal for one hand.
Yeah, Absolute Batman, the Killing Joke 30th Anniversary Edition, Batman, the Court of Owls Saga, and Batman White Knight. So they at least give you like, hey, stuff that came out this year, and you should go check out.
Yeah, I really like it, but I definitely do have that criticism then for not appealing to. I feel like they could have appealed to everybody better. They absolutely should have at least included Batman Adventures. That's the name of the actual title that was based on the animated series. And it was so well done. It even had standalone stories in every issue. You didn't have to have 2, 3, 14, 35 issues to know what the fudge was going on. It was like one issue, bam, story, done, next. And that would have been great for you to sit down with your kids, or to give to a niece or a nephew. You know?
Jack Malice says the way that you make Justice League a fun game is you drink a lot of very tiny drinks and lots of them. Makes the movie great for the kiddies.
Yeah.
For the adults, you do something else with those tiny drinks.
Apple juice.
Put something else
Lots of apple juice.
So, but it's where are the details that cause you to drink those tiny drinks. In making Justice League a fun movie to watch. That's what you need to drop us in the comments and let us know. But going along with this, so Wonder Woman had Wonder Woman Day last year. Batman's now had his 5th year of Batman Day. It's kind of given they've been around for so long that they should deserve a day to celebrate comic books and that specific superhero. I want to know from you guys if you have any other superhero comic characters that should get a day to celebrate and what those should entail in terms of like activities and stuff like that.
I got it. October 7th every year. Swamp Thing Day. We're in.
That's fun for the whole family.
Yeah, Matt really loves the swamp Thing.
And I know he loves it, but what activities would you give for the kids to come and enjoy Swamp Thing Day?
Throw
Are you
kids
kidding
in a
me?
swamp.
You could have like alligator wrestling, and then you have tribute to Steve Irwin, and you can have the Bayou boils and crawfish boils with the Swamp Thing Day. You go Southern with it. You go Creole. You go Gulf with that. So there
Jack
you go,
Malice and Masonic Vader say Deadpool Day. Diaz Day Deadpool.
man. Ooh,
Pull the taco trucks out and serve some tacos and
the
chimichangas.
chimichangas.
Yeah.
And
Is
he
there
also
not a
says lots of
Superman
people
Day
are
yet?
celebrating that. I'm assuming there's a Superman Day. I mean, he's 80 this year, so
You can Google. It's a great machine.
it is. So,
That watch
do you
while
have
you're asleep.
a comic book hero that you'd want to have a day, Nudie Rudy?
Well, Batman is my favorite superhero, so he's already got an established day. I'm totally down with that. The one that definitely shouldn't have a day is Green Lantern Day. Speak for that day would suck.
Oh, well, please do not turn into comics for all with that kind of rhetoric out here. All right.
We
No
don't
Aquaman
take too
Day.
kindly
No.
to that.
I love that Masonic Vader is going deeper and deeper into detail for a Deadpool Day. He said they need to have a unicorn ride instead of bull riding.
Yeah, someone's obviously been thinking about it. He's ready to pitch
Sir
it.
Talmor says a Ghost Rider Day, but then again, he's biased.
Wolverine Day, Rogue Day.
Yeah, Wolverine
See, I
Day
like-
involves
I-
drinking
I
beer,
do like-
smoking cigars, and being surly.
I do like Zorro's concept there. It's angry St. Patrick's Day.
And taping 3 knives to your hand.
Fantastic Four Day would be the worst, says Whiskey Gamer.
Thoroughly.
Oh,
Everybody gets bored,
Everybody gets
just like I did at the movie. It's like, this is
Also,
so
also
boring.
got Spider-Man Day. We got a
too
couple
soon.
others. Not Fantastic Four Day. If someone asked, please.
Yeah, I said it'd be the worst. Since Batman is your favorite, Nudie Rudy, you didn't chime in. Are you going to try and go out to any of the comic shops or retail establishments and see what they got going on for Batman? Since you're out in LA, they may do some like special bat signals out there and stuff.
Definitely no. It should be a good excuse to get out. I went down to LA City Hall for the big bat signal and the dedication they did down there with the Batmobile about a year and a half ago, a little over a year ago. That was a lot of fun. And any excuse to get out and celebrate the bat, I'm down.
Nice. And Masonic Vader also says Aquaman Day on Fish Fridays. So, moving on to our last subject.
Catholics will be here.
So, talking about movies getting made, and I'll try and get some of this artwork up for people to see. I'll share it on my screen. But they released a ton. They were doing 31 days in celebration of the original Metal Gear. They're doing a Metal Gear movie, Metal Gear Solid movie. And in celebration of its 31st anniversary for the very, 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 very first game, they released a concept art a day for the film from different artists and stuff like that. And some of it looks absolutely amazing, but I wanted to get your guys' reactions on the art that you saw and what your thoughts are on seeing this art versus the movie being in development. Is it look like something that they're shooting too high for? It's just going to be a CGI fest and be like every other video game movie that came out that didn't succeed hitting the source material? Or is it something that gets you kind of actually excited for the film?
I think the artwork is beautiful, but I kind of get this sense that it might kind of dive into more of a Transformers type movie, which I really don't want that.
Yeah.
That's fair. I feel like that's fair. I didn't
Anybody
really care at all when I first heard about it because Kojima has been treated so unprofessionally since the split, and that was pretty dang unceremonious when it came down to him not wanting to do that, wanting to do it anymore, and being told, "Okay, too bad, we don't need you anymore." Like almost instantly stripped his name from the game titles, that kind of thing, where it used to say a Kojima production all over it. But then I looked into Jordan vogt-roberts, calling Skull Island
Michaels?
and the fact that Skull Island was yet again such like classic original school adventure like punch the bad guys, fire machine guns, kind of a movie. And the fact that he and the people he tapped are really excited to do this, and he's so excited to the point that he commissioned all these artists before there's even a script, literally just so he could get a feel for it, for the crew he's building, and for the public too, like you were saying, putting it all out there so we could see. And I'm getting interested. There's definitely zero interest now. I'm saying, okay, this could be cool. This actually does have potential.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, they did burn, and here's some of the art as I talk, but they did burn him with kicking the creator, kicking him off and everything like that. But you knew that this film was eventually going to get made. It's too big of a property that you just want it to get made right. And I think this art looks amazing, but there's certain things like this to me looks fantastic here, but when you're seeing the robots and stuff like that, I'm just really fearful, like Nick said, of it turning into a Transformers type of thing.
Well, that's what I'm talking about there. It's the fact that Konami was going to keep working.
What are you saying, Big Papa Matt?
Those are Metal Gears. That's what they look like. They're not Transformers. Like, that's what those are. Like, they don't.
I know, but I'm afraid that.
No, stop.
Go.
2 years ago, 3 years ago, when we went to E3, we watched this be birthed. If you were at E3 and you saw the Metal Gear, the Hideo Kojima interview, Jordan Roberts was the moderator for this panel, and you watched them on stage say, "I love films." He's like, "Oh my God, Kojima, that's amazing that all these things are taking because of film." And they sat there and talked about how it would be kick ass to make a Metal Gear Solid movie on the stage. And it was phenomenal to watch. It was phenomenal to talk about and see watching in front of your eyes. And I love this is the culmination of it. But the guy has been nearly flawless, in my opinion, as a director with Kong Skull Island. The Kings of Summer was absolutely fantastic as well. So he can hit all angles for you. He can hit the big action stuff. He can hit the small, precise, emotional stuff. And that's where Kojima was so masterful as a game director, because he brought things to a game screen that had never been seen before. And if he can do anything like that for a video game world, these are two guys I'm going to put my trust in.
Okay.
My worries.
Yeah. Which they said you tell them. So, and you definitely told us. So,
yes.
And that's not. Sir Talmor says there have been good CGI heavy movies. Yes, there have been. But once again, how many good video game movies have there been? It's people don't know how to transition that source material over.
But you know who transitions games into movies all the time? I mean, Metal Gear Solid 4 was a 7-hour CGI cutscene with a little bit of gameplay sprinkled in there. And there's no reason to doubt. I think everybody needs to sit back, enjoy all this beautiful concept art we're going to get, because we'll see only a third of what we're seeing on there, because they're going to think so big and so crazy that it'll never all get on screen. But they're going to put something out that's pretty damn fantastic, especially if they are getting ability to control this property. And with Kojima's name on it, you get that.
Is this something, well, let's put it in that way then, to go this big and stuff, is it something that you would rather see in an animated style as well, or do you want to see live action?
Here's the thing. I want to see what Jordan Roberts is going to put up for us. And if he thinks if he wants to go both ways, I think it would be fantastic. He did it great with Kong. He killed it with Kong.
Okay.
I completely agree with Big Papa Matt that if any movie is perfect, video game is perfect for a movie, remake, make of a movie is Metal Gear Solid. It has always had amazing cutscenes and such a bonkers storyline, everything. If they can just put half into the movie of what they have in that universe, it'll be a just crazy, plot twists and everything everywhere. And Kojima's, made amazing cutscenes in Metal Gear Solid, and it's been such a cinematic game from the very beginning. I think it's definitely worth giving it a chance. And the concept art has me excited. It's amazing concept art. It's definitely, has whet my appetite for checking it out. And, Although personally, I'm really still sad about losing Silent Hills. That whole Kojima raw deal, everything. I know Death Stranding is coming, but that the whole, Igor brought up about the raw deal Kojima had, and with him and Del Toro teamed up, and Reedus. That's just, I'm still salty about that one too.
As for movies and video games, though. Oh, sorry, Mr. Drake.
No, I was going to say Beacon says Brie Larson had something to do with Kong Skull Island. Let's be honest.
She helped.
No.
Welcome, Jeffrey, into the chat. Hey, how's it going?
Jeffrey.
So, no, what were you going to say, Igor?
I am trying desperately to remember.
Here's the reason why we could do it animated, though, is because the voice of Solid Snake, whatever his name is, I can't think of it right now. Whoever knows it in the chat room, shout it out to us. But he's fantastic voice actor for Snake, and it'd be tough to lose some of that.
Are you talking about Kiefer Sutherland taking over his voice? Because he did for Metal Gear 5.
Oh no, definitely not.
Okay, because that's who
absolutely
Kiefer was doing his voice, and
I like Kiefer. I wasn't a shot at Kiefer. I love Kiefer, but no, the guy from back early in the days, David Hayter. There you go. Thank you, Google Machine. Appreciate you, whoever got that.
But I think we can actually even bring it full circle, really, because if you look at Blomkamp's cinematic releases alone, I think and Metal Gear Solid 5 in particular, I think he'd be perfect for it. He's a perfect example of how Metal Gear Solid movie could work in live action very well. Not that he's going to take it, but just that, there's an example of pretty close to the style of the game already.
Yeah, but then, you've already got Vogt in there directly.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Not as in taking out Vogt, but just as in can it be done? Yeah, look at Blomkamp stuff. That's pretty close to Metal Gear as it is. So, could Jordan do it? Yeah, that's possible. It's entirely possible.
Yeah. And there's a lot of Tron talk going on that was a good video game movie, but it was a movie first, and then they made a video game after it. So, so you can't put that into the fold of. I'm still waiting for that film that comes from a video game property being, as good as the video game was, which is really hard to do because it's the same thing with books to TV and movies, that they're never as good as they were, and
because it's even more, it's tougher than books, because video games are so personal because you play them, you create that character on the screen with video games a lot of the times, and you do those things, and when they're on screen not doing the things that you personally want, the author tells you in a book how a character is and what they think and what they are. In video games, you play them and you react that way, and the way you want to see that character portrayed is different from person to person to person to person. That's what makes it so tough with games.
Beacon says Rampage was good, but is that just his love for The Rock?
Rampage wasn't bad. I'm not gonna lie. It might have been one of the better video game movies we've seen. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't.
And Sir Thomas's first Resident Evil was great.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. Resident Evil.
Nice. Yeah. I did like that one. That one was cool.
Yeah, I think that they just beat it into the ground so much with all the sequels that it ruined the first one.
First one was excellent. There's some minor complaints, but we're not going to be negative about that here on MaliceCast today.
No negativity. Well,
Zero.
We enjoy you coming and joining us in the cast, Jeffrey. Unfortunately, we're at the end of this cast. We're an hour into it. But if you guys want to check out the cast, you can always come back and watch them. They are still here up on the Twitch channel, or you can head over to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/c/MaliceCorp. And we also put these casts up on Stitcher and iTunes if you want to listen to it on the go. So I do greatly appreciate you guys coming in and joining us and talking with us about all things nerd this week. We'll be back next week, Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, live for another podcast about all things nerd, what's going on in the nerd and geek headlines. Until then, let's talk about where we can follow everybody outside of this cast. I'll go with you first because you always have the longest list. The Big Papa Matt, where can we follow you?
At the Big Papa Matt on Twitter, as always. You can also follow me on Instagram at the Big Papa Matt. You can hit us up at Nerd Mosh Pit on Twitter, though, which is always a great new show with Nick and I here with our cohort Kenny. You can also hit us up at All for Comics, where I go with Igor, talk about comic books with our boy Max from Turbo Comics, where you can get any of these comic books you've heard about here today on the show from him and his great crew. And then last but not least, the Quest for 100. It's coming back. It's coming back in a big way with me and my boy Beacon. He's out there in the chat room. Check us out. Let us know what you guys love. And follow me on Pinterest at Son of Maku. You can hit me on PlayStation Network at Son of Maku, Snapchat Son of Maku. And I'm sure there's many more. Reddit.
He's also
Son of
the
Maku.
president of the Nick Cage fan club.
And we're moving on from that.
Nick Cage as Nick Fury? No.
And,
He wants to see Nick Cage as anything.
he makes every movie he's in that much better.
Nick, where can we follow you outside of here?
Raider0314 on Twitter and also on PlayStation Network.
And Sir Talmor says he's looking forward to when they do a God of War movie. I would agree with that. So,
Ooh.
Nudie Rudy, where can we follow you outside of this cast?
But who should play Kratos? You can follow me on Nudie Rudy at Instagram and Nudie Rudy at Twitter.
Super says, would Nick Cage make a better Bella in Twilight?
Yes.
Yeah, anybody.
Yeah.
I think my dog would make a better Bella. I don't even have a dog.
No, we need to have Nick Cage acting alongside your dog. Your dog can be Edward.
Sir Talmor says The Rock. The Rock is the answer to everything. We need a Nick Cage Rock movie. I think that would just make the
Twilight remake.
The
starring Nick
Rock.
Cage and
The Rock would be a good Kratos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good call.
I'm still hoping Shazam takes off so we can have The Rock as Black Adam.
Igor, where can we follow you outside the cast?
I have to plug at All for Comics on Twitter because the Big Papa Matt neglected to mention we have not one but two female persuasions. Along with it as guy types. We've got Miss Allie and Ms. Marley by in the show and on the Twitters with us. It's very much a team effort. And just for me, myself, and I, malice-corp.com, as of course, the Igor, PlayStation Network. Drop by, ask for a Destiny match, or anything else I might happen to own. Harris_Doubledon, and or the odd occasion that I actually stream something on Twitch. Same thing.
Nice. And you can follow everything we do over on our website, malice-corp.com. Head over there. Once again, if you're going to Audible, if you're going to Amazon, going through our links helps us out. You still get the stuff that you're looking for. You can follow our producer extraordinaire, Jack Malice, on Twitter at Jack_Malice. You can follow me on Twitter at Mest_MaliceCorp, or you can follow me on my personal vlogs on YouTube at Geek Guidepost. I appreciate you guys coming over and checking us out. With that, thank you for coming out. You guys keep nerding on, and we will see you next Friday.
Excelsior.
Later.
On your
Do the Batusi.